starts. Shoulder seams. And side seams. The dart goes up. Coming in 1 centimetre. Before you sew the second side seam, you need to make sure that the flow of the garment on a woman's garment, a woman's body, goes from the right to the left around the body. So you need to make sure that the wrap is going over the right way and not underneath. I'll show you in a picture. Cut that off. And we'll put this right at our shoulder point, side front neck. Doesn't matter which side. Then we'll come down about 5 or 6 centimetres. Fold that in half. And we'll join that seam a bit later. Seam to the back. The shawl will end with the seam. I'm going to bag it out. I'm folding it in half. Now I'm just going to stop at the other end of the seam and then turn around and stitch the other end. Match up your notch and then work back from there so that it's in the right position. So we've got an opening of around 20 centimetres or so. At the other end. And then we're going to open it up and then press. So put your hand into the gap all the way down to the end and pull it through. Poke it down, but be careful not to poke the very end of it out. You can use a pin or a needle to get a very nice point out. Hold your finger at the end and then just use your chopstick. Pull that seam open, and then you should get a nice smooth curve. So we're going to work on 2.5 centimetre deep tucks, and I'm just going to even it out from this point. Pop a pin in here, which is your fold point, and if you measure 2.5 centimetres down from that, and pop another pin in. What we're going to do is stitch that underneath side, catch that down underneath, and then that's going to make our tuck so that you've got no stitching on the top. I'll leave that end one in and then I'll work back towards that. So we'll get to the inside of this, make sure your edges are level, because we've got to keep in mind where our shoulder point is, that's roughly in the middle somewhere of our tucks. So we've stitched down probably about 3 centimetres. That's our first tuck. Stitch down. Then that will be a next stitching line, so it'll come out another 2.5 from there, just there, another 2.5. And stitch over the same point where our other tuck is sitting. So you can take that out. It might be easier to follow a white dot, dot, dot. There's a bit of a slide off the edge. So we've gone 5 centimetres and then 2.5 centimetres. So that's the fold line, and then that's the next stitch line. Stitch down to that stitching line, and I'll leave that off. And I'll catch this there. I'm just going to smash this around and catch it underneath, 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 and the same over the back. Catch it from here, tuck this all up, and I come around, and that will smash down and flatten. This will puff up or sit out. Now this front, you can do the whole stitching line, or you can just catch a section of it. I'm just going to do like the last 5 or 6 centimetres or so, just so it's attached. Make sure there's nothing else underneath, and you're going over exactly the same stitching line as what was there before. So I have attached a little bit here, then underneath one of the tucks, then I came over to this side and I've attached 1 tuck, 2 tucks, and then my last tuck I have to do on the top because I can't get underneath. Just going to attach it over the same space. I'm just going to catch this section and then curl the swirl around it. Try to lay it flat on your machine, and then we're just going to catch 2 tucks underneath and then swirl the rest of this around in a spiral and then squish it flat. So where you've got it folded, flip that over, pop a pin in it, and then you know to stitch on that exact point, which will be to the inside. You won't see that on the outside. So I'll go 1, 2, 3. Hold that all down. Holds that in place. Don't want it to get too bulky. Get on the edge so you can see that line. And that gives it that 3D-ness. Look, you can probably catch in there and in there, maybe to hold it. Or you can just let it flop wherever it goes. Or maybe you could press it with the iron. Just pop a stitch in there to hold it in place. One more over there. I've got it on the stand, and this bit will flatten down on the front, so I'm just going to put maybe one more, just one there, so that holds that spiral up. This is looking great. Then around the back we've got that same spiral coming back in, so that's going to hold because I've got those 2 tacks there, and everything's sitting rather nicely. It gets really confusing having this crossover back, so if you're trying to put it on the stand and you can't figure out which way it goes front and back, look for the darts on the front and our curved seam, that's the hem on your front. Then pop that over the stand and you'll get it around the right way, and then you've got your neck and your shoulders. Otherwise, it's quite hard to figure out this crossover back when you're trying it on, off, on, off. You've got our spiral going out to the shoulder. This spiral we can continues over and around to the back, going into this rosette. You've still got your crossover here and your crossover underneath. So nicely. You can change this. Coming out. Try and keep your shoulders at the same point before we can come up. Depends on what you want. So that's up. That's quite 3D. Which one will you choose? I think I prefer it coming out.